I like talking to you so much today. I'm going to talk to you some more. Hope that's okay with you. Um, Actually, I want to talk to you about two dynamics of a relationship: the submissive and, of course, the dominant roles. For a relationship to work, there has to be a submissive and a dominant partner. You can't have two dominants in a relationship. If there is a two dominants in a relationship or two submissives in a relationship, one will be dominant or submissive to the other. There's always going to be someone that is the dominant partner, that is the authority, and there is always going to be someone who is more docile and more compliant. Between the two, there's always those two in the relationship. There's not going to be two dominants all the time or two submissives all the time. A relationship just would not be able to be very compatible like that. Because there's always going to be one person that is more or less in charge. Like I said, the authority person in the relationship. And then the more submissive, the docile, compliant one. The one that doesn't question as much and doesn't push authority as much. Now, I will give you a secret that most people don't realize about the two dynamics of the relationship. The dominant may be the one that has control. They may be the authority one, the one that gives direction, the one that actually makes the decisions. They may be the dominant figure in the relationship. However, in order for them to keep that dominant position, the submissive has to be compliant. So therefore, the submissive is the one with all the power, which I bet you didn't know. Because most people don't. One person cannot be dominant over another unless that second person is submissive, unless they are docile and compliant. If they don't bend to the will of the dominant figure, then the dominant has no authority. They have no power. So unless there are both a dominant and submissive in the relationship, there's not going to be much compatibility, which is something that seems like people overlook a lot. They try to say, no, I'm in charge of the relationship, and they'll bicker and argue back and forth. But if you really dig deep into the relationship, you will see that one has to be the authority and one has to be the compliant. That's just the way a relationship works. With being submissive and dominant, now there are ups and downs to both sides. The dominant, of course, has its perks, and then the submissive position has its perks. The only thing that I can tell you is it's not a gender thing. There are no gender roles as far as dominant and submissive goes. If the man is dominant or submissive, or if the woman is dominant or submissive, it doesn't matter, as long as there's one dominant and one submissive in the relationship. I know that society has this thing that they tell everyone, or it's really an implied kind of thing, that the man is supposed to be the dominant in the relationship, and the woman is supposed to be the submissive. I can tell you right now that there's a lot of men that actually like to be dominated. Why do you think the dominatrix exists? Think about that one. That is food for thought. But as far as the submissive and the dominant roles go, the dominant does have the authority. They do have the power. They do have, of course, the one that gives direction. They are the one that makes decisions, and they're the ones that are looked to for approval for praise. The submissive is the one that receives that approval, receives that praise. And in order for the submissive to do their job, they have to be compliant. They have to be willing to do what the dominant expects, what the dominant wants. They have to be docile and accepting and compliant. If they're not, the relationship is going to be unbalanced. And with the submissive, what most people don't know, like I just mentioned a moment ago, it's not the dominant that has the control in the relationship. Even though the dominant loves that feeling of control, that's what they get off on. They get off on control of the submissive. But if the submissive doesn't do their duty, if they are not compliant, if they do not do what is expected of them, if they're rebellious, they're no longer a submissive. Therefore, the dominant no longer has power. So the submissive is ultimately the one that decides whether something floats or sinks, which most people don't realize. It's just food for thought. It's just something that I thought I would share with you today. If you have any thoughts on it, or if you have any questions on dominants and submissives, I would really appreciate those. I love being able to interact with other people and their opinions. So if you do have one of those, and I know you do, leave it for me or private message me. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Mrs. Frostbitten. So just keep me, give me some things to think about as well. I know I'll give you a little bit to think about today. I bet you didn't know, if you're submissive, that you were actually the one that controlled the dynamics of the relationship on your end. Because your partner doesn't have any power unless you submit to their every will. Just think about it, and if you would, subscribe and like my video. Also, leave me some comments and suggestions for new videos, because I don't know if you like this video. Heck, I don't even know if you liked any of my videos, but I really appreciate you watching them. But if you could just leave me some suggestions. What would you like to see more of? What would you like to hear about in a relationship? Is there something that you're going through that you would like for me to make a video on? Is there questions that you have about your relationship or someone else? Maybe it's your friend's relationship that you have questions on. Please just leave me some questions and I'll try to make a video, to help you out. Again, I really appreciate you tuning in today. And that's food for thought. Just chew on it a little. Okay? And if you don't have anything to say about it right now, wait a while, come back to it, and leave me something then. Okay? Thank you very much, and I hope you have a very wonderful day. And today is Thursday, so I know you're going to have a great weekend, right? Okay. Have a wonderful day, and weekend coming up. I'll talk to you later.